Oh my God. Welcome back to another episode of JAWS
JAWS
Diaries. Dude, I'm struggling. I'm just mentally in a really, really weird place. I'm just in a funk. I have no desire to drink or use. But I just feel very frustrated. I just feel like I'm short fused. Why don't you, like, how do you see me being over this last week? I feel like the week started off good, but I just feel like I've just been in this emotional roller coaster the last like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I feel like your moods are like very up and down. I feel like the beginning of the week was really, really good, but now towards the end, you've just been in a funk. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I'm doing my program, doing my gratitude list, doing my meetings, staying accountable, connecting with my mentors.
But you haven't been exercising as much.
I've been exercising at all. I can't do
No,
anything.
I know.
So I
I'm
think
saying
that
like
I think
even
that's
going on
a
a walk as
big
much.
thing. Yeah, I have not been. Last week I wanted to follow up and try to do more exercise and do stuff like that, which I've not been good at. I guess honestly is a little bit because I'm fearful of what's going to happen to my body if I do anything and not a walk. But so
Yeah.
that's definitely an excuse. But I should be doing more of that. Overall, though, I think it's this quarantine thing. It's been a long time for all of us. I think that's caught up to me. Very very grateful that I have work and I'm able to stay busy. But I think it's really hard to do the transition from like being out and like in an office and doing different stuff to being confined into a home when you have your wife and you have your kid. And it's like when I'm working, all I'm doing is thinking about Ashley and Delilah because I hear them downstairs or they're running around and like I just want to be a part of it. And then like when I'm with them, all I'm doing is thinking about all the work that I didn't do. So there's like that was a big struggle with all this. And
So we asked for some guidance because we were having some issues when it came to figuring out how Jason could have more of a schedule for work.
well, yeah, so it's like I think a big part of it is schedule. The quarantine thing has been crazy. Program and the connection with people. It's just like it's really not like I'm grateful for the technology, happy that it's available, but I'm just really not getting much out of it, honestly. And I'm just being honest. Sometimes I feel like I go to the meetings and or when I talk with people and I end up more irritable than when I went.
And that's what you were even saying last week. Excuse me. That's what you were even saying last week. So I think you're just a very social person, and it's hard for you to not have that.
And I don't know.
human
I have a lot of
connection with multiple
like
people.
high energy too. So I think being like
Yeah.
locked
Locked
down, it's
inside.
like I was like I'm running around like I don't know. So
I'm over here.
but we
like,
did get really good insight. Yeah, you lucky duck. But I got really good insight from my therapist, which we just implemented the other day. So I'm noticing an effect from it, but still I'm out of a 1 out of 10. I was, a 1 2 days ago. And ever since we figured out like more of a schedule and a structure with our therapist, I'm probably like at a 3. So I do see the progress with it, but definitely this is probably out of the last 119 days of my sobriety right now. This has been probably the most trying time right now. So I don't know, maybe my brain's starting to heal in other areas and everything. I don't know, but she told me, for Ashley and I, for at least for the schedule purposes, which gives me, and I'm very structured in OCD. Like I like to compartmentalize everything and have everything in order. I don't know. That's just the way I operate. I think that's just how guys are in general. But so every morning from basically 7:30 to 2:30 is like it's my work time. So like we've set up where literally I tell Ashley and Delilah goodbye, that I'm going to work, whether I literally physically walk out the front door, go to my car, and then Ashley takes her to the potty, and I go upstairs and go into the room, but we make it so she physically thinks I left. So it's creating a structure for her, not only in boundaries for her, but also for me as well. So she knows that I'm not upstairs or I'm not at the car or whatever it may be. So she's not trying to come find me. So I actually am able to have that time. And if I need anything, if even for lunch or whatever, I call Ashley, she brings it up. But I set that time aside, so it's from 7:30 to 2:30 that I literally work, crank out whatever I need to do, and then at 2:30 I make myself available, and that's where Ashley is able to have the remainder of the afternoon available for herself, whatever she needs to do. So it's kind of like a structured schedule where at least now, instead of me working from 7 and then doing stuff at 9 and then 11 and then stuff from 2 to 4, like this whole stretched out schedule. I even told everybody I work with, like, hey, in an effort to support my recovery, my mental health, and just my overall well-being, I need to have this structure and this schedule. Everybody supported, which was awesome. So, just having a communication with everybody, letting them know where I was at. I got the support that I needed. And, and from Ashley, I really appreciate it. Because I know it's like look, we're taking care of a 2.5-year-old full-time is a full-time job, 100%. So I'm super grateful to you for allowing me to be able to do those things. but it did create a great space because Delilah didn't think I was around. So like that piece of me, like in the focus that it was taken off of my work, like that actually went away, which was really, really nice and was very beneficial. And it's also like when I come home though, it allows me to be able to be present for my family
Mm-hmm.
instead of being all over the place. So that was a
That
great
was really good
takeaway, you know,
advice.
and I really appreciate that to our therapist. So that's something again is if you're in that same situation or you're finding it hard to work at home, I mean, I love going to an office and it's like it just puts my mindset in a different place and I'm able to do that. But this has been beneficial. So if you guys are struggling, that's something I would advise. But Ashley, I even feel a little bit better now that we've talked about it. So uh,
See, sometimes just talking about it makes you feel a lot better. Just
yeah.
gets it out.
Well, so hey, how is this whole thing? You ended last week saying you really wanted to focus on. I know you were, last week you were wanting to finish something and you weren't able to get it done. And then so instead of like overwhelming yourself and beating yourself up, you're like, I'm going to take this one day at a time. So how's that been going for you this week?
I feel like I've been doing great this week. I think
Well, that
Delilah.
must be nice.
I'm sorry. You know what? One of us has to be in a
I'm
chill mode. Could you
kidding.
imagine if both of us were like this all the time? Ah! No, I'm just kidding. You're not like that. You're more of like a quiet, not say anything, stressed out kind of person. That's how I am too, a little bit. But I've really been living in the moment. I feel Delilah and I have gotten a really great schedule down. We've been making sure that we do school every day, and every day is pretty much the exact same thing, which is great because 2.5-year-olds need structure, they need routine. So
Real quick, that the part of the work schedule for us or for myself is also created routine for Delilah because we also don't want her to think with this quarantine thing going on that we're just going to be around 24/7.
yeah, which is going to be,
So
that's,
that's
I
going to be a
think,
really hard thing when we detach. So we're starting that process now as well. So
because both
sorry,
of
just
us,
wanted to
no,
add
that's
that in there.
fine, but that's true. I mean, that's a fearful thing when we both go back to work and we're not with her 24/7 like we are right now, and how she's going to feel, because right now I think she's very, very happy that we're both home all the time and we're giving her all of this attention. And yeah, I've been putting aside a lot of time this week besides just for Delilah and her schedule. I put a lot of time aside for my mental health, and not as much my physical health, but I've been doing a lot of things for my mental health, and it's just I've been reaping the benefits. I've been making time to once a week to talk with my mentor, and
Therapy's been good.
therapy's been good, just dedicating that time. But
I also think like for your mental health too, correct me if I'm wrong, but that one-on-one time, with Delilah's has been really nice to not be distracted by outside things and to really just have that engagement with her, right?
yeah, you know what's so weird too that I was thinking about? Like I never really thought that I was like a great mom. Like, this is gonna make me cry, but like I never really thought I was like that good of a mom. And then spending like this time with Delilah, like I've realized I'm like a really good mom.
Yeah, no
I
duh.
know, but like I don't really think of myself as like being the best mom, but I feel really grateful that I've been like taking so much time and doing all these book things with her, and like seeing how she's advancing so much and how smart she's becoming, and I'm like giving myself a little bit of a pat on the back because
You should, dude. I
I've
mean, she's
I'm
she's almost smarter than me. She's 2.5.
I'm just really grateful. She's also a great child, and she's so polite, and her manners are so sweet, and she's growing up so fast. And in the weirdest way, like I'm so grateful for this time with her because it just blinks. Like time goes by so fast with your first or however many kids you have, and they're not babies for long, and she's just growing up, and I just feel like really grateful that I've had a chance to pause and like look at the goodness of life and like the most important things that are important to me.
And it's cool too. I think also something I've noticed from you this last week is like you were really focused, and I think this is something about you is like I don't know if you take it however you want, but I noticed like last week you were really good with like physical exercise and then like physical health, and then like and not so much mental. And then this week you're like really good on mental health, and like you're still exercise, like
Yeah,
you're
walking
doing
every day and
you're being
everything.
active. I mean, to the best of your ability. And again, is we don't have the equipment and stuff up here at the house up here, and I think that too is just been nice. And I guess something just to add to gratitude is when you're feeling down. It's even though I've been doing my list every day, even in the funk, but it's we've been so fortunate too. Is like we got to spend time with your mom for 10 days up in Pismo, and
And
we went.
Delilah was with her for like over 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, they got to have some time together, and then we went home, and then, we came up here. We're at our mountain house up in Lake Arrowhead, and just so blessed. I mean, just looking outside, and it's just so beautiful in the trees, and I don't know, maybe it's sometimes I just need to take a deep breath and not be so critical on myself.
Give yourself some grace. That's my best advice for this week. And I tell you that all the time. And it's something my mentor always told me is to give yourself grace. Like
I
everybody
just can't
needs
help though. I mean,
grace.
I'm like so hypercritical if like things like are not in order. Like I obsess on that, and like I know that's the problem. So it's like I try to disconnect. Like even today, I was getting super overwhelmed, like around 1 o'clock, and I ended up just like, actually, I got to go on a walk. So I just took the dog down to the lake and just threw the
We
stick
all
to
just
him.
went.
And
Yeah, it was so nice.
I don't know. We just wanted to share where we were at. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you're staying safe. What's your action for the week? What do you want to focus on?
I think just continuing to like talk about things that irritate us in the moment or talk about things that we're insecure or fearful about, because that way it lets the power go.
Real quick, I don't want to. I know we're almost wrapping out of time, but something that was really, I think that was really powerful is you ended up talking to me about, because I am working, everything still almost stayed the same with me. Besides, I'm just physically at home now, as opposed to me being out there, whereas you are not working, and that was it's been really hard on you. I mean, you've broken down almost every week around that. I mean, do you want to just talk about that too, real quick, just to share about that?
About not working.
Yeah, just what it's done to your, like, I think it's a lot of people are out there that have lost their jobs, or don't have the income coming in, and
Are
I
you
think
trying to make me cry?
no, it was something really important because it's affected you.
I mean, I think anybody that like isn't working feels like a little bit of I didn't lose my job. It's just I'm not currently working and I can't because I'm a hairstylist and I can't do people's hair because I can't physically work. So I'm not making an income right now for myself. I'm so grateful that I have somebody in the family that takes care of our family and works. And there's so many people out there that like have lost jobs and then they don't have a significant other to take care of them. And it's just really sad. Like I look at a lot of small business owners. My salon's a small business owner and having to get loans to be able to pay their employees, and some of the employees that are commissioned aren't making a paycheck. And I
No,
just
but I mean, but I mean,
sorry.
like, but no, there's don't be sorry. And I think again, but I'm saying, like, how does that impacted you? Like, because you did break down. Like, I know those things are sad, but you were really upset.
Yeah, I mean
And that's a piece of it, but I think the bigger piece was like it really impacted you. I mean, because you got a lot of self-worth from work. You got
of
a lot of like you
course.
love what you do, and that's what I'm getting at.
Of course. And it felt horrible at first too because I didn't feel like I was being fulfilled in that aspect of art and creating something, and I think I was feeling unworthy in that box. And I think that through time, I felt the satisfaction of being a mom, as I was getting emotional about before, and like noticing that I'm putting my energy towards teaching Delilah planting and teaching her art and stuff like that. And so I'm in a weird way, I'm like
So much
getting
teaching her to skateboard, teaching her to ride a scooter, teaching her to to ride horses. I mean, like,
I'm trying to really put my focus on teaching her new things and being very creative. I'm a very creative, artistic person. And so being able to have that kind of outlet through her has been very helpful. I'm still like doing my IGTVs and making sure that I'm doing hair tutorials, which have been really, I love showing people how to make themselves feel good and, sharing my tips and tricks from a professional aspect as being a hairstylist and colorist. And so that's been good for me. I think doing those tutorials helps me too because I still feel like I'm like in it, but it's hard.
no,
It's the up and down.
I appreciate you sharing that though, because I think you took like the saying, you took lemons and made it into lemonade. You took an experience where it was really hard, and it's devastating to go through that. You lost something for the time being. You'll be able to do it again, but it's like something that is very important to you is taken away. And so again, people out there, it's like I can understand, especially with seeing my wife go through that, being in that spot. But I just commend you, and I want to say I'm really proud of you that you took that and you took that like to heart of like, okay, like this has happened, like I've had to accept like what's going on, and like you put forth all the effort, and like you diverted that into Delilah. And you've always done that, but I mean, you went up from even doing it from a 10 out of a 1 out of 10, you were a 10, you went to like a 12. And you diverted that hard time you were going through and into something positive. So I think it's like whenever there's like something that's chaotic, there's something is good that can come out of it. And I mean, this is something that you'll never regret this time that you've taken to do this with Delilah. So,
No, I haven't.
so guys, I think our takeaway for this is for me is, I'm just going to follow up with you next week because like I said, I'm still at like a 3 out of 10, from my mental health. I think the schedule and structures helped. Let's see how much more that helps with me, and I'll stay on top of everything that I need to do. And I want you to hold me accountable for getting outside more and, just like I said, taking walks and doing things like that. So other than that, see you next week.